Yo! Papa! I knew these guys in front would get it. You guys are insane. You're insane. Can we start it out the right way tonight? You know the call, right? I'll start it. You guys finish it. Ready? Touchdown! San Francisco! Let's do this. Welcome to the 2022 State of the Franchise here in Levi's in this beautiful facility. It's presented by Socios.com. I am Greg Papa, thrilled to be the radio voice of the 49ers, and it's just great to be back in the room among all these faces. The last couple of years, we did it via Zoom and, separate rooms, so it's just so great to be here. So, Faithful, are you ready for a night? We got a long list of headliners. Let me hear how excited you are about tonight.
Welcome to the 2022 49ers State of the Franchise. Last year was an incredibly exciting season. We had a lot of great play on the field, and I give so much credit to John and Kyle for keeping a team together after a 3-5 start and getting us within one game of returning to the Super Bowl. But the real MVPs last year were you all, the 49ers faithful. You guys brought it every game at Levi's Stadium, and you definitely brought it on the road. We felt you the entire year. You truly helped us galvanize a team and make a march, back to the NFC Championship game. We're very excited for this upcoming season. We're going to be returning to Mexico City for the first time that there was ever an NFL regular season game abroad in 2005. We can't wait to get back to Mexico City. Stadium Azteca is such an awesome, awesome venue. Faithful, we can't wait to welcome you there and see all of our fans in Mexico. It's going to be an exciting experience. And our return to Mexico brings us full circle in another way, as Frank Gore played in the previous Mexico City game as a rookie. And now we're excited to induct him into the Edward J. DeBartolo Sr. 49ers Hall of Fame. He's one of my favorite players of all time. Frank's heart is unmatched by anybody. His spirit, his determination, it made him such an amazing player, not just for the 49ers, but for his 16 years in the NFL. And I know it's not going to be too long before Frank makes his way to Canton, which brings us to another 49er and a great piece of our team and a great legacy, Bryant Young. BY, it's been a long wait for you to get into Canton, but you were in a place that you deserve to be. BY won the Len Eshmont Award an unprecedented 8 times. And I mean, that's something that our players vote on as really the person that's the heart and soul of our team. That epitomizes Bryant Young. He is truly a legend, and I'm very proud and very excited to see him inducted into Canton this year. The exciting thing after we return from Canton is really the return to the field of this 49ers football team. And like I said at the beginning, I have so much trust and faith in John and Kyle. I have so much respect for what they've built since they came here in 2017. Just watching the growth of this club and watching our players come together, I couldn't be more excited for the 2022 campaign, and I couldn't be more excited than to see the faithful again, both at Levi's Stadium and on the road. Thank you for all of your support.
To see what you all brought to us at home, and then you brought to us on the road. I mean, to go down to Dallas, then to Green Bay, SoFi twice. I forgot about the last regular season game. I mean, you talk about faithful. Faithful doesn't just exist here in the Bay Area. It exists, frankly, all over the globe. And I don't think we make that run without looking up and seeing all those red jerseys in the stadium and knowing what kind of a home field advantage that we have. So I'm super excited for this coming year.
So let's talk about the game. And they played there before, a huge crowd. What do you expect when the 49ers go play the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico City?
Put simply, a 49ers home game.
Yeah.
Right? I put simply, let's make it a 49ers home game.
Drake's been great. Just get him in there. OTAs are always different. We're not doing as much O-line, D-line stuff, so you don't get to see as much as you want from those guys. But when he's been in, he's exactly as advertised. I mean, the movement, what he can do. I like to joke that we like to stockpile D linemen here, and we'll just worry about the offensive pieces and everything else later. Are you sure we need our 18th D lineman? But if they're that good, yes, you do. Nothing else matters.
And it's a very new coaching staff. When you have the level of success you've had the last 3 years, you're going to get guys poached from your team. A couple of years ago, it was solid, more defensive side of the ball. This year, you got your O-line coach, Chris Furster, but I think everybody else is gone from the offensive side of the ball, Coach. So talk about the staff you put together and how challenging, because a lot of those guys you were with many, many years, a lot of guys you know and have great credibility in the league, but you have an entirely new offensive staff with the exception of a few people.
Yeah, it was a different challenge. To tell you the truth, right when the season ends, all you want to do is kind of get away for a little bit and just check out. And that's what I thought I was going to be able to do. And about 4 days into it, guys were just leaving left and right. And good opportunities for all the guys, so you're happy for them. But at first, it was pretty miserable. I didn't want to be sitting there interviewing a bunch of coaches and trying to figure that out. The last thing I want to do is really deal with football at the moment. I need about a month to recover, and then I'm ready to jump back in, which is right about Indy and about the time you get, or the combine, and the time you get ready for the draft. But we lost the whole offensive side. I'm like, oh, man, I got to figure this out right now. And it took about 3 weeks. You got to talk to a lot of people and stuff. But when it's all said and done, it's an opportunity to get better. And I think that's for everyone. I mean, change isn't always needed, but or always wanted. But when you do it, it's a chance to get better. And not because you get better guys, but you just get different things. And
Yeah.
Clay Kubiak, who's, everyone knows his dad, who's been in it for a while. His brother was a coordinator in Minnesota last year. He's been coaching high school football for the last 10 years. And he didn't want to go the NFL route. He wanted to live in Texas his whole life. He's had a lot of success being a head coach at high school. He's really became a great teacher. And he reached out to me 2 years ago just saying how he loved this path, but he feels he'll never be able to live with himself if he doesn't try for the NFL. So we gave him an opportunity last year as a defensive quality control, and he was DeMeco's top guy. But I think he has more of an offensive mind too. So I stole him from DeMeco, and I got him with the quarterbacks with Brian Greasy, who being able to fall into Brian Greasy, it brings an attribute that is different. Brian hasn't been coaching for 20 years, but Brian's the smartest players I've ever been around.
I'm looking out in the crowd, Kyle, and I see the number 21 jersey. That's not Dion. You used to wear that jersey to school, right? Stand up. That's not Dion. That's
Frank.
That's Frank. So what do you say about a guy that goes 16 years in the NFL, rushes for exactly 16,000 yards, the quintessential three-down back? He can run it. He can catch it. He can block it. I mean, in 4 years, we're going to be talking about this going into the Hall of Fame. What do you say about the career that Frank Gore had, Kyle?
Oh, he's right there with the top backs of all time. I mean, everyone can go through their backs and pick your one. And, I think everyone jumps at Barry Sanders because he's the most obvious one of that no one can touch him except John Lynch. He did a couple times.
Did you ever bring him down in the open field, Captain America?
I got him once.
You did?
I made a lot of his car commercials too.
But, I mean, there's all different opinions, and, it depends what situation you get in, the O-line to have those stats and everything. But, like, Frank was as good as anybody. And my first year in the NFL was Frank's rookie season. And I told this to our team the other day. I mean, I didn't know anything about Frank, and I just sat in the back of those draft meetings in Tampa Bay, and they evaluated everyone. And we're talking about the top backs, and they're showing the highlight tapes on them. We're all hearing about the history, and we got to vote on them and stuff. And I think that year we took Cadillac Williams. I think with the fourth pick, Cedric Benson went, Ronnie Brown went. But all these guys, and I remember seeing Frank Gore's, and I just remembered at a young age seeing his name and be like, why isn't that guy the best one? Like and then, he's got 3 ACLs, he's got all this. I'm like, all right, but he's healthy now, right? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, no, those guys get hurt. And so he goes in the third round, and he doesn't, and he makes it. And then, so that's the story I always go to, and then there's a lot that work out the other way. But Frank's always been that good, and to watch that adversity he had in college and to coming in the league, and every year he ran the same. And how hard he ran, how he always hit the right hole, how you had to tackle him. Like, he made people tackle him. He was never going to go down unless you did everything you could to get him. And he did it for about 100 years. And that's what blows my mind, because I don't care how tough you are. Running back's different than every other position in sports. And I mean, whether it's high school, college, or NFL, it's just different. And you watch these guys, and it's tough to keep that up. Not only the talent, but the mindset of just doing it. And you got to not only have the body to do it, but there's got to be something different inside. And Frank's had that forever. And to watch how long he did it, it just shows the character. Well, it's always good when you know someone. And my first year in coaching, I was a graduate assistant at UCLA. I was there for about 6 months. They were making me go to class too much, so I had to get out of there. But Brian was a special teams coach there, so that was the first place I got to meet him. He had gone to Colorado State, which was the school I loved growing up, or at least through high school. That's where I was hoping to go to. But so watching Brian there, you know, I didn't know anything about special teams at the time, but you watch the energy, how he carried himself, the type of person he was, and I always really liked the guy. Didn't know if he could coach, seemed like he could, but I didn't know much about special teams. And then I go to the NFL, and I think he was in the NFL like the next year or 2 years later. Whenever Pete went to Seattle, and then to watch him for 10 years at Seattle, and having to go against him, and then and I did that at a number of other teams, but then to come to this division and have to face him and be able to see him a little bit, but I'm like, man, that guy 20 years ago was a cool dude. Now I can't stand him.
You're on the same team now. Come on, guys.
So to know someone like that, and then to be able to watch 10 years of tape and to see how they are through different personnel and everything, you know what a guy stands for. And it didn't take an interview or anything. I was just hoping we had a chance to get him. And once we had that opportunity, I feel very fortunate to get him here, and I know it's going to be a hell of a deal for the Niners.
Well, it is a hell of a rivalry. And I tell you what, being here, I've always thought the 49ers were the most physical team we played every year. And, we played them twice a year. One time we played them 3 times a year, and that was always the game. And so I have huge amount of respect for not only what Kyle's done since he's been here, but really over the whole run. This organization has been everything that, and I know what it was like to compete against them. So I'm really excited to be here and to be with Kyle and his staff. Yeah, it was unbelievable. When we looked through the film of all the free agents, John and Kyle asked me to rank them who I liked, and Burks was number 1 in terms of that linebacker position for me. And so that's always the wish list, right? And so I wrote that up there, and it always doesn't work out that way because, again, the decisions you have to make that Kyle has to make as a team, and DeMeco, when they're looking at their roster, and then the money situation, which I stay way out of. But when it works out like that, it's wonderful. And what I saw on tape from Burks in terms of an athlete and a guy moving in space, he has even been better when he's been here. And so that was a great surprise, and you don't get that very often. And then you throw in George, who plays safety. He's a Pro Bowl special teams player, and the same thing. I ranked him number 1, too, in terms of our safety looks as far as special teams goes. And it happened to work in with DeMeco and how they look at him as a defense. And then and I don't know how it worked out, but George is the same way. Both of these guys came in, and what they did on the field is even better than the tape. But what makes me more excited is in meeting rooms, how they prepare, the professionals that they are. And it's just been amazing to have them in the room. So those 2 things happen, and then you get Ray McLeod, who was also up there as my top returner. And I think I've been in the NFL for 14, 13 years, and I've never had anything like that happen where it all works out. But Ray, you guys are really going to like his toughness. He fits right into the mold of the team that Kyle and John built here, which is really good football players that love to play ball, that are physical, that are instinctual. So all 3 of those guys line right up into it. So I couldn't be happier, and we couldn't be happier with how they performed.
Trey's a great dude. He's himself. You can tell he was raised very good. He treats everyone right. He's also got he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he likes to compete out there and play ball. And he handles himself the right way. Like, I think the biggest thing on Trey that everyone's got to realize is he is younger. Trey's got more horsepower inside of him, I think, than he even knows of. Just from the whole, talent, but also what he's made of, how intelligent he is, how I think he's going to be able to overcome adversity. I do believe he's going to be able to handle this pressure. It's going to be hard, but that's what the position is. And there's only so many people in this world who have the talent to be put in that spot.
I've seen a whole lot from him, especially since we started this all-season program, just seeing how much he's grown, just seeing him just throw the football, lead in the locker room, connect with guys. We have a special quarterback.
How is it you're able to consistently beat tough man coverage?
I think it came from playing basketball because at first I played quarterback. So, going from quarterback to receiver, you had to learn that, you had to learn the basics first. And then I think it was just coaching. There's no thinking to it. It was coaching, just taking coaching and then just always being able to rely on, you know, the basic skill sets that I need each and every time on each and every route. You know, it's the same thing as muscle memory.
I think he's, first of all, he's being humble because
He's great at it.
I haven't seen anybody be able to separate the way that he does. I think it's kind of naturally for him in his body, and a lot of people don't have that. I've seen a lot. I feel like we have a real legit receiver room with Danny. Of course, everybody knows Danny. First thing that's we seeing, you see him, fast guys, they just come on the field, and you want to see speed live in person. You know, I saw in the media that we drafted a fast receiver, so he kind of jogs onto the field, and then you just see him take off, and you're like, that's the speed right there. And he talks about how he hit 23 miles per hour, and it's just crazy speed. But he's a young guy. He's out there asking questions, ready to learn.
We certainly hope you enjoyed our 2022 49ers State of the Franchise, brought to you by Socios.com. Thank you so much. We will see you at the home opener. We'll see you in August for the preseason schedule. Thank you so much. Let's hear it one more time before we go. Ready? Touchdown, San Francisco! Thank you. Great night. Thank you. Thank you.